Good morning.
Nice to have you. How was the week? And hope you had a wonderful week.
Yes.
Yes, we did.
It's good to know. My name is Anashi Jangbemi. I'm glad to invite you to this meeting too. And I'm very sure that we are going to have an exciting moment here. Today I'll be your sergeant at arms. As a sergeant at arms, I'm here to anchor the program in a way that it will go in a seamless way. To start with, I'd like to state the ground rules, which we all know, but for those joining us for the first time, we are all expected to mute our mic for us to have a seamless meeting. This is to avoid distractions from the background. To start with, I would like us to take the Toastmasters promise. I will share my screen and you are going to see it in 10 seconds. Can you all see my screen?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we can.
Can we recite the Toastmaster promise in 1, 2, 3? As a member of Toastmaster International Club, I promise to
attend club meetings
regularly.
Prepare all of my projects to the best of my ability. Basing them on the
Toastmaster education and
education program. To prepare for and fulfill meeting assignments. Provide fellow members with helpful constructive evaluations to help the club maintain the positive, friendly environment necessary for all members to learn and grow. To serve my club as an officer when called upon to do so. To treat my fellow club members and our guests with respect and courtesy. Bring guests to club meetings so they can see the benefits Toastmasters membership offers. To adhere to the guidelines and rules for all Toastmasters educational and recognition programs. To act within Toastmasters core values of integrity, respect,
service, and
excellence during
the conduct
of all Toastmasters activities.
So help me God.
Good.
Without wasting much of our time, I'd like to invite someone I respect so much. He's one of the few Toastmasters I look up to. He joined Toastmasters in 2014. He's an engineer who loves influencing people positively. With a resounding round of applause, permit me to welcome CM Salif Mohammed. Salif, can you have you?
Yes. Can you all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, TM Bemi, for that wonderful introduction. Mm-hmm. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and guests. It's a pleasure to welcome you to Lighthouse and Lighthouse Prestige Toastmasters meeting. Okay, sir. The theme of this meeting is Take Charge. Just going through our folders. I also said without a shadow of doubt, I believe you are going to have an enthralling experience in this meeting. Take a look at your life today. Are you really satisfied with the person you are? Is what you are doing on a daily basis taking you to greater heights? Or is it confining you to a life of mediocrity? A few years from now, what are you going to be doing in life? And who will you have become? Do you feel that you are just drifting day after day without any goal and direction? Life often places us in situations we do not bargain for. We have a choice to either wallow in submission to the dire circumstances we're facing now, or take charge of our life and steer the ship to sail in the direction we want. When we choose the latter, we have the capacity and the inherent ability to live a fulfilled life. Although we are gifted with a lot of potentialities, most people go through life not realizing the power they have. Remember, the major key for taking charge of your life is you. Ralph Waldo Emerson said, the only person you are destined to become is the person you decide to be. Today, decide that you are going to be the driving force in your life, the architect of your own destiny. Your life will be charged up if you take charge of it. How do you take charge of your life? Take responsibility and challenge yourself to keep moving forward no matter what life throws at you. Hone your skills and commit to the best in all that you do. Put your skills and talent to use, because if you don't use it, you'll lose it. If you are a Toastmaster, for example, if you don't speak often, you get rusty. The talent you don't subject to continuous use diminishes. Let me summarize with the words of Rob Liano. He said, your life will fly by, so make sure you are the pilot. Ladies and gentlemen, take charge of your life. To take charge of this meeting today is someone I hold dear. Our Toastmaster of the day is an adaptable and successful project manager across multiple and varied projects. She's a dynamic entrepreneur and creative writer who joined Toastmasters in 2015. She is the immediate past Area 18 director, an advanced communicator gold, and advanced leadership bronze recipient. Her favorite quote is, "To thine own self be true." Fellow Toastmasters and guests, let's make welcome to the virtual lectern, the Toastmaster of the day, TM Ifeanyi Omoike. TM Ifeanyi, over to you.
Hello. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Oh, yes, I actually miss the physical meeting. When I say good morning, fellow Toastmasters and guests, people actually respond and say good morning. And I feel the energy, but
Good morning.
yes. Thank you, Toastmaster Pradeep. Thank you.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning. So yes, we are here today and I'm feeling very energetic today. So I expect and I know that we're going to have fun. And of course, yes, a professional meeting, but we're also going to have fun. Today, our theme for the meeting is to take charge. When I was thinking about this theme, I was like, take charge. It's really difficult to take charge in this season because it just seems like life just took us unawares and everybody is even just struggling, trying to know what are we going to do next. But I love what Toastmaster Salif said, our president said about making sure that you're the pilot of your own life. So in spite of everything that we're going through, we still need to make sure that we take charge. We still need to make sure that we have our goals. We still set our goals. It's tough, yes, because we're all trying to stay alive, but we still need to have our goals and move towards our goals no matter what. So guys, Toastmasters and our guests, please take charge of your own life. Be the pilot of your own life, like our dear president said. And now we're going to move into the meeting. I'm also the general evaluator for the day. And as general evaluator, I will be working with an able and efficient team who are the timekeeper, the accounter, the grammarian, and the listening evaluator. But I'm going to introduce them now to also say the roles, to also explain their roles to us. We're going to start with the timekeeper and accounter. So he's playing a dual role. He's a timekeeper and he's the accounter also. Toastmaster Jayola Koka, he joined Toastmasters in 2018 and he's a consultant who loves having fun. Fantastic. Toastmaster Jayola, can you explain your role to us? Okay. Just can you unmute yourself? We can't hear you. Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Can
we can
everyone
hear
hear
you
me now?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the day. Hello, Toastmasters and guests. My name is, I've been introduced, so I don't have to introduce myself. So
Yes.
I would be taking on the role of the timer and the account of the day. So as a timer, my role is to ensure that every speaker every speaker manages their time properly. So there are certain grades, there are certain grades that I'll be measuring basically. So I'm going to describe my role. I think I'm talking too much. So what I'll do is I would share my role. So basically my role is to ensure everyone manages their time properly. There are certain timelines. There are two different types of speeches. We have the prepared speech and we have the table topic speech. So for the prepared speech, you are meant to speak within certain periods of time. So for the prepared speech, once you've spoken for about 5 minutes, I would notify you that you've spoken for about 5 minutes with this signal, with the green light or with the green signal. Once you've spoken for about 6 minutes, I would show the red signal. I mean the amber signal. Once you've spoken for about 7 minutes, I'll show the red signal. And once I've shown you this red signal, you have about 30 seconds to end your speech. So if you speak more than 30 seconds, then you'll be disqualified from the voting when it's time to vote for the best speaker. So now I'm going to describe my role as the account of the day. And I've made many errors in speaking that I should not have made as the account of the day. So as the account of the day, my role is to identify pause fillers and also crunch words used by speakers in the course of making their speech. Example of pause fillers are or an example of crunch words are, basically, literally. So my role is to identify those pause fillers and crunch words. And at the end of the day, I would notify each speaker or any speaker that doesn't speak as appropriate. That is my role. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the day. Moving control back to you. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Toastmaster Jayola, our timekeeper and our counter for the day. Now, moving on to our grammarian evaluator, Toastmaster Taye Oloridade. He's going to come out to explain his role, but I'll introduce him first. Toastmaster Taye joined Toastmasters International in September 2019. He is a management consultant who loves hanging out with friends. So he also loves having fun, and he also loves to read. We have that in common. Toastmaster Taye, please can you explain your role to us?
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the day. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and guests. So I have the privilege of being your grammarian and listening evaluator for today. So I'll just run through what those roles will entail. As a grammarian, I will be paying attention to the good use of English and providing constructive feedback at the end of the meeting. But before that, I will introduce the word of the day, which I will present now. Just give me a minute. Which is SEDULOUS, which means to show dedication and diligence. So an example of which is he watched himself with the most sedulous care. So as the grammarian, I will be monitoring our use of the word of the day, which I will encourage us to use as frequently as possible. So at the end of the meeting, I'll also provide a report on this. Now moving on to my role as the listening evaluator. What I will do is to watch how well we've listened as a group. At the end of the meeting, we would test that. So what I will do is I will listen to different portions of the speeches. Everybody that speaks, both speakers, both guests, and all. At the end of the meeting, I will test how well we've listened and give a report on that. So that's what I will be doing today as the grammarian and listening evaluator. And back to you, Toastmaster of the day. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Toastmaster Taye. Thank you so much. And so that is my efficient team. I trust that they will be sedulous in playing their roles today. And I also hope that I will be sedulous in playing my own role today also. And now, in every Toastmasters meeting, we have 3 segments. In the 3 segments consist of, the first segment is the table topic session, where we learn how to speak impromptu, where we learn how to speak on our feet. And then we also have the prepared speeches segment, where speakers who have actually prepared their speeches, in Toastmasters, we say that evaluation is the breakfast. So evaluation is the breakfast of champions. Feedback is the breakfast of champions, which is also evaluation. So we have the evaluation segment. But now we're moving into the table topics segment. And now we have a table topics master who is going to take charge of this table topics session. And I trust that he's going to do his role sedulously. Toastmaster Chinedu Ariekpere joined Toastmasters International in July 2019. He's the current secretary of Lighthouse Toastmasters Club. He's a civil servant and a businessman. He loves, businessman, interesting. He loves reading, writing, teaching, and watching football. I wonder if he also loves teaching football. Toastmaster Chinedu, welcome, our table topics master for the day. We can hear you. Hello, Toastmaster Chinedu.
Hello, can you hear me?
Okay, can you increase the volume? It's not.
We can barely hear you.
Yeah, we can barely hear you.
My mic is on and it's about it and all. I don't know.
Maybe it's the. Or can you speak into the phone? Maybe it's your mic.
Let me use my earphone.
Oh my God.
Because this one you mentioned that I don't know, I do have if you can function the truth. I think they've as good as well.
Okay.
Hello?
Okay, we can hear you now.
Much better.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, it's much better. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, you all welcome to this segment called Table Topics. This is where we learn how to speak without prior preparation. We also call it impromptu speaking. One good thing I like about this segment is that it involves everyone. So what that simply means is that even the guests are allowed to speak. So I would like more of the guests to seize this opportunity. You never can tell, maybe this is the opportunity they need to start their journey in public speaking and also kill this fear of public speaking. So I believe the guests. Then again, about the rules, I have questions lined up that I will be asking, and I will be needing volunteers, people that are really, really ready to do this with me. And I must admit, the questions are very, very simple. And I will need just 2 minutes and maybe 30 seconds for you to drive your point home. So are you ready? If you are ready, I'm very much ready to anchor this segment with you. So who will go first? Who will speak? He's ready to speak.
You have two guests that raised up their hands. You have Tim Lawrence and Tim Adediba.
Okay. Tim Lawrence, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
Yes, I'm here.
Can you switch on your camera so that we can see you?
Okay, 1 minute.
Yeah. Okay, welcome.
Can you see me?
Yeah, I have questions 1 to 5. Which one do you go for?
1.
Okay, question number 1. Here is the question. At some point in your life, at some point in our lives, we have always faced challenges. What was that thing that seems unsurmountable, and how did you find a way around it? Can I repeat the question? Did you get
I'm
the
sorry,
question?
sir. I did not get. It is breaking.
Okay.
I didn't
Okay,
get you well.
Let me do it once more. At some point in our lives, we have always faced challenges. What was that thing that seemed unsurmountable, and how did you find a way around it? Did you get the question now?
Okay, let me repeat this. I hope I got the question. You said at some point in our life we face challenges that seemed insurmountable, and for me, how was I able?
Yes, to face yours. Yes. How was you able to face yours?
For me, how was I able to surmount the challenge, right?
Sure. You can go on.
Okay. Yes, I think I've gotten it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and guests. My name is Lawrence Nolly. Yes, I will dive into the question itself. Sometime when I was about leaving the university, I dreamt big, and I told myself that if I graduate, I wouldn't want to be stranded financially, and that I needed to start making business plans to prop myself financially and don't become a burden to my parents. So that led me to borrow money, a huge amount of money, as a final year student, to dabble into a business I know little or nothing about. And as fate will have it, the business crashed, and then I was in debt. And I knew that the people I borrowed money from, they were not smiling. They have already called for this for me. My mom was already happy that my parents, my mom, my sisters and brothers, they were already happy that I would soon be a lawyer. But unknowing to them, their lawyer to become son is on his way to the prison. Now, that was a huge problem for me. One thing that helped me to surmount that problem was I was able to speak out. I couldn't speak to my parents, of course, but I was able to speak to my younger sister and confided in her and told her my predicament. It was my younger sister that was able to approach my parents and told them about the misfortune that is befalling her son. What I thought initially that prevented me from speaking to my parents was that if I speak to them, that will cause them a lot of heartache, that may even claim their lives, that they will find me to be irresponsible. But that act of speaking to my sister, letting out my problem out, not holding it to myself, saved the day. Ordinarily, I'm not that easily let people into my problems. But there are some problems you not but just confide in people for solutions. So I have discovered that in tackling problems of life, confiding in people, especially people that have their do help to surmount challenges. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, TM Lawrence. And thank God that you were able to speak out and also came out of the problem.
Hello.
I'm really sure that if you had, as in, if you really had time, you would, want to tell us more and more about the story.
Hello.
So, but moving on, I have people on the comment section that indicated interest. I have TM Joy. So TM Joy, are you ready? Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Can you unmute your mic and your video? Put it on. Okay, I have questions. One has been taken on number 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Number 5.
Okay, number 5. Number 5 says, who is that person that you would want to help if you suddenly amassed great wealth? Who is that person that you would want to help if you suddenly amassed great wealth? Aside your parents. Aside your parents. So you have 2 minutes.
Good morning,
Good morning,
Toastmasters and guests. Who is that one person I would love to help if I amassed a great amount of wealth? That one person would be the one person who needs it the most. And I say that because having to choose between A, B, or C becomes a very sentimental and very subjective exercise. So what I would do is to put up a what do I need this for challenge and ask people to actually come up with reasons why I should give them the wealth that I have amassed. In the course of that, I would also put in a situation where I do not get to pick who wins the eventual amount by myself. I'm going to have a panel of judges, people that would assess the submissions on the basis of merit, on the basis of equity, regardless of tribe or religion. So at the end of the day, even though it's my money, I would have empowered a lot of people by, first of all, engaging a team who would help me in that decision making, and also make it a very fair and transparent exercise. So whoever wins that challenge of what do I need this for, whoever gains the highest credit from the panel of judges will become my eventual winner. So you see, at the end of the day, I don't know the person is not related to me, but the person has very transparently earned the money. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you very much. That is really a great way of distributing your wealth. If you ask me, I actually have one person in mind if I amassed a great wealth. I have one person in mind, but I'm not going to tell who the person is right away. So moving on, we still have questions to ask, and I have someone who indicated interest earlier, TM John. Is TM John there? I don't know if he's actually a TM, a Toastmaster. Is he there?
Hello, everyone. I'm here.
Okay. Are you a Toastmaster or you're a guest?
I'm a guest.
Sorry. Okay. You're welcome.
I actually pressed the...
Hello, what did you say? Are you there? It's like we lost John.
I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, you can go on. Okay, I have questions. Still left 2, 3, 2, 3, and 4. Which one do you go for? Are you there, John?
I guess he's having issue with his network.
Okay, let's move on. Who else wants to speak?
Yes.
Who else wants?
Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Yes.
Okay, you're welcome.
I can hear you.
Okay, still John.
My name is John, and I think my network is bad. I really cannot. There is delay
like we'll
in
move
the
on.
network.
If we can move on, okay? Maybe we'll go calling up for another person to speak, please, so that we won't be wasting much of our time. So who else? Is Shoma available? Is she ready? Shoma?
Yes,
Is
I'm
Shoma
here.
ready?
I'm
Okay.
here.
Okay, you're welcome.
Thank you. Good morning.
Yeah. Good morning. I have questions 2, 3, and 4 for you. Which one do you pick?
I'll go with 4.
Okay, question number 4.
Yes, please.
Question number 4 says, should you decide or say, I have to take charge?
Sorry,
Did you
repeat
get
it
it?
again? No.
Okay, what was that trigger that made you to decide or say, I have to take charge? Like, what was that thing that made you say, I have to take charge?
Sorry, you said what was the word? What was
the trigger? Something that triggered you to decide or to say, I have to take charge of my life. Yes. You get that?
Okay, so just to be sure I
go on.
got you correctly, I'll just repeat the topic. What was that trigger what was that thing that triggered me to what was that thing
decide or say that I have to take charge of my life?
What was that thing that triggered me to decide that I want to take charge of my life, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. What was that thing that made me decide that, triggered me to take charge of my life? I will start off with, I have 2 siblings. We're all girls. My mom had 3 girls. And my dad obviously wanted a son. So the signs my mom had when she had my first sister, I'm the second born, just to mention. And the signs she had, when she had the first one was different from the second one. So he thought I was going to be a boy. So he had plans for a boy, had a name for a boy, and then I turned out to be a girl. And basically he didn't want to have anything to do with me, didn't name me, we have no relationship at all. And always growing up, it always made me feel a certain type of way, and I think at some point in my life when I think I was in school and, people will talk about their fathers and how they've come through for them and how they've, are basically their best friends. And it always made me feel bad, always made me cry, and at some point in my life, one day when I felt really bad, I decided that I wasn't going to let it, I wasn't going to let it determine how I would turn out, whether a male child or a female child, it doesn't make any difference. So I think that was the point where I stopped thinking about, what I expect, and sort of determined how I want my life to turn out. And I just decided to blank out and, put in my best, try and, basically I looked up to my mom as she played, her like a role in my life. She made sure that she gave us the best. She made sure she put us in the right schools, and I looked up to God as my father. And I think that helped me take charge, and I turned out great. I finished, my university, regardless of, whether he cared or whether he was there for me. And I'm happy at what I do currently. So that was how I was able to take charge of my life.
Wow, That's a good one. Seriously, I can really relate to that story. Can really relate to it. Nice one. I really appreciate your effort in delivering this speech. So moving on, we also would need, let's say, one more person to speak. Who is volunteering now? Who wants to speak? Who is ready? Who is ready?
Please check
Okay,
the chat.
Juliet. Is Juliet around? Juliet Okene.
Around, please. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Welcome. Okay, Juliet, are you ready?
I am, please.
Okay, I have just 2 questions left, 2 and 3. Which one do you pick?
Kindly unmute your mic.
2 is fine. Sorry about that.
Okay, 2. Juliet, what would you do or be if your life had no limit? If your life had no limit, what would you be or do? Did you get the question? We can't hear you. You're unmute your mic.
Sorry, I'm unmuted. So
okay.
Sorry. What would I be or do if my life
had no limits, like no limitations? Yeah.
Thank you, Big Master. Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters and guests. If my life had no, I am blown away by the things I can do because there will be no limit whatsoever. Already with the limitations that I have, I do a lot of great things and I have been able to impact a lot of lives. So with this opportunity to have limitless opportunities, I can't not even imagine what I can do. There are a lot of children, a lot of people who need the skill set that I have. If there was no limit, I would reach out to them and help them be the best versions of themselves. A lot of people are timid. A lot of people are afraid. A lot of people lack awareness. They don't know anybody. Because of the level of experience and exposure that I have, I would be able to impact so many people. The world would be a happy place. The reason a lot of people do things that they do, they go into drugs, they go into crime, they go into all kinds of things, is because they don't know. They don't know that they can be better. They don't know they can do better. So if I have this opportunity of limitless opportunities, I cannot imagine what I can do. The Toastmaster, the topic master.
Thank you, you're welcome. Thank you, that was a great one. Really, each and every one of us have a lot to do if we had the opportunity. Like if our life is limitless, we could do a lot. Like me, if I had the opportunity, I would say I will be president. Don't ask me the president of which country, but I know I would have loved to be a president if my life had no limits. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me to anchor this segment. I really appreciate each and every one of them. I think we have come to the end of this segment. I enjoyed myself. I'm sure that each and every one of you enjoyed this segment with me. Thank you. Back to you, to the Toastmaster of the day, Madam Toastmaster. Take it away from here. Thank you.
Hello, Temi, fine.
Okay, while we wait for Madam Toastmaster, can I give my report on the table topics, on the table topic speech, on the time spent on the table topic speech, so we can.
Okay, you can go.
Yes.
Right.
Okay, so we had 4 speakers. TM Lawrence, TM Joy, TM Chioma, and TM Juliet. For TM Lawrence, he spent about 3 minutes 28 seconds. Spent 3 minutes 28 seconds. So he exceeded the time that he should spend, which is about 2 minutes to 2 minutes 30 seconds. For TM Joy, she spent 1 minute 59 seconds. For TM Chioma, TM or guest Chioma, not sure, she spent 2 minutes 12 seconds within the time limits, because the maximum is 2 minutes 30 seconds. For TM Juliet, she spent 1 minute 22 seconds. So which means that all of the speakers except TM Lawrence is eligible to be voted for as the best speaker in the table topic session. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Tim Jai. I think in the absence of Tim Ifeanyi, I think she's just joining back. Tim Ifeanyi.
Hello.
Okay, good. You're back.
I'm so sorry. My network is acting up. Okay, so worry. I'm so sorry. Now
About
introduce.
the evaluation.
Sorry. About study evaluation. Okay, so let me introduce Toastmaster Ned. So our table topics evaluator for today is Toastmaster Ned Omekuku. He joined Toastmasters in 2015. He's an IT professional with a love for photography. Interesting. And he also loves gadgets. He loves playing chess and watching movies. Toastmaster Ned is our table topics evaluator. Welcome, Toastmaster Ned. Over to you.
Sorry, 1 minute before the evaluations, can we please vote?
Okay, yes, please vote for your most preferred table topic speaker. Can we have, do you have the polls? Toastmaster Bemi, can we see the polls, please?
Just a minute, please.
Okay, thank you. So we'll just give a few, like 30 seconds for everyone to vote, and then Toastmaster Ned will come on. Okay, Toastmaster Ned, over to you.
Thank you, the Toastmaster of the day. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, this is the evaluation section. First of all, I'd like to commend all the speakers. You all had a SEDULOUS attempt. It was quite good. You all spoke well. I'll start with the first table topic speaker, TM Lawrence Nnolly. You answered the question at a point in your life. We all face challenges. What seemed unsurmountable, and how did you face it? You started with telling us a story we could all relate with. You finished school, you had some looking forward to what the future will hold, and how you started a business, collected a sort of loan, and the business crashed probably because of the inexperience and all that. That was a very good one. We could all relate to that kind of scenario. You also emphasized on the solution, which is how you faced the challenge, the unsurmountable challenge. You talked about how speaking out, your ability to speak out and your ability to confide in people actually helped you solve this particular challenge you had at that time. That was very well said. We could easily relate with it. I think there was some sort of clarity. You had good eye contact. You also gave some good gestures from time to time. Network wasn't frankly fair with you because for some time it's cut off, some other times it felt like it was frozen, but I could generally get the flow of your speech. That being said, what would I like you to do better? I noticed you were folding your hands a couple of times. Again, as Toastmasters, we know that whenever you fold your hands, it shows some sign of nervousness. So you want to show your audience you're very comfortable talking. And also, I felt we need to understand that this is an online meeting. So basic etiquette like putting your position, your camera position properly so it captures a better part of you. We felt like we're just seeing half of your body and the other part was hidden at the other side. So those are areas I feel you can improve on. But generally, I think I like this speech. I like your speech very well. And I like the fact that you emphasized on your solution and shared how that's your unique approach will actually benefit every one of us that listened to your speech. So very good one, TM Lawrence. Thanks for sharing that with us. Our second table topic speaker was TM Joy Cheyenne. Now, we all know TM Joy Cheyenne. She's a very experienced speaker, so it was very, very hard evaluating this, but I gave it a shot, and this is my evaluation. You answered the question, who is the person you will help if you suddenly amass the great wealth? And you started very, very well by repeating the question. I believe that gave you more time to articulate what your answer would be before sharing. That is a very good technique, and you played it out very, very well. So you started by repeating the question, and you shared something very unique. I think you were trying to avoid picking a particular person, and you did a very great job because you then shared the methodology with us, which is amazing. Your methodology or your approach was to throw it open for interested people to share why they want to be the ones you help, and then leave the decision-making to others, in the process creating a whole ecosystem for a lot of people to actually benefit from this, your amassed wealth. So that was very, very spot on. I enjoyed every part of your speech. I frankly don't know where to fault. I think I would just say, as a speaker, there's always room for improvement. So maybe your ability to think faster and come up with answers to this kind of table topic sections might be my only areas for improvement, but generally your speech was flawless, it was amazing, and it was very, very clear. Your clarity was top-notch. You maintained eye contact. You felt very, very comfortable when you gave the speech. You gave very nice pauses in between certain areas, and it almost felt researched, like you knew they were going to ask you this question and you had already researched what an answer for this would be. So that's very, 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 very good. Nice one, TM Cheyenne. The third speaker, Chioma Igwe, I don't know if you're a TM or a guest, but if you're a guest, then that was very sedulous of you to take up the speech and deliver such an excellent table topic speech. Your question was, what trigger made you say, I have to take charge of my life? Now, again, you started by repeating the question, which is a very good technique. Gives you some time to think and articulate what your answer would be. You also started by sharing something we could relate with, especially in the African context, where you shared how your early days, your parents had 2 kids. You narrated something that is very common in the African culture, where every father wants to have a male child. So we could feel your pain from the beginning, and we knew that, yes, this sounds like a genuine trigger for someone to make a life-changing decision. You went ahead to narrate how this stretched up to when you were in university, and how you actually got the support from your mom. And I like the part where you shared that currently you are very, very happy. That means you have actually taken charge of your life. So I think your speech was spot on. I think you answered the question accurately. And as an evaluator, I have to point out areas I feel you could possibly improve on. One, I think I would say, was again, this is an online meeting. If it was a physical meeting, you're expected to look at your guests. A lot of times you were looking up and you actually spend some time closing your eyes, which again is a sign of discomfort, or maybe you're shy or timid. I think there's definitely room for improvement in that area. But generally, your speech was very, very clear. Your gestures were quite hidden because we could only see your face. That again may be room for improvement. But your comfort level was very okay, because I feel you were sharing something that is very personal to you, and then it's your story. So you had your comfort level showed that, yes, you're really in charge of that speech. So very well done. You kept to time. Your speech was wonderful. Thanks for sharing that with us. The fourth table topic speaker was Juliet Okene. Again, I don't know if you're a TM, but if you're not, that's a very good speech. Your question was, what will you be if you had no limits? Again, you used the technique of starting by repeating the question, which I think is very fantastic. Gives you time to think and articulate all what you want to say. You also shared how you had so much skill and experience, and you really want to share it out to the world and reach out to people. That again was very, very good. You cannot imagine, okay, so I'll just go very briefly to some of my observations and areas I feel you can improve on. I felt you had so much time in your hands and you could have given us more content. You used about 1 minute, 22 seconds. 30 seconds means a lot. You could have been able to share more ideas of what you could actually do if you had this limitless power. I also feel from a clarity point of view, your speech was quite clear but short. I think you had good eye contact, your camera position was fine, you also had good comfort level. I would just like you to speak a little bit more so that we can actually benefit from all your skills and experience you talked about during your speech. But all in all, I think you did a very good job, very wonderful execution, wonderful speech. And to all the Toastmasters, all the participants that participated in this section, I'd like to give you kudos for being able to stand out of the crowd and take up this impromptu challenge. And I think you all did very wonderfully well. And I look forward to hearing more speeches, table topic, or prepared speech from you all. Thank you. The Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ned, for playing your role sedulously. And of course, thank you to all the table topic speakers. Now, we are going to have about 2 minutes break, 2 to 5 minutes, a break, networking session. Normally in a physical Toastmasters meeting, we would all talk, but even here too, we can still talk and just have fun. We're learning to take charge of our lives, even in this situation. So now we'll go on break and we will come back in 3 minutes.
So we can turn on our cameras and talk.
Hi, Tim Rotary.
Hi.
Well done, Tim Ned.
Yes, that's your evaluation.
Tim Ned. Wow, your evaluation. And I missed it. My network was acting up.
No, you can watch it. It's going to be available on the YouTube channel.
Yes,
Came back in the
can we give an award to that evaluation, Biko?
He was spot on.
Wow.
Thank you.
Oh, I missed.
No, tell me fine. You can watch it after the meeting. It will be available.
Okay,
on the
can
YouTube
watch after the meeting, right?
Yes,
Okay,
you can
fantastic.
get a catch
So this evaluation is getting serious praise. I have to watch it too.
You can get a catch up.
and learn. Let me learn.
Learn, relearn, and learn.
Hey, my mentor. I know that voice. I don't have to see your face, but I know that voice. It's good to hear your voice.
Rodney said I should not show my face.
Why now? That face. That's a model's face. I've not told you before. That's a model's face. Should be shown to the world. you know.
Loading.
Where's everyone? Everyone, where are you hiding? I can't see. Where's our
The face
our
are loading.
IPP?
Some people need
IPP,
to
are
read.
you there? IPP, Ruti Joma, where are you? All these
Pradeep.
people. These people.
Pradeep, can we see your face?
Good
I want to see my
morning,
face.
TM
Okay, now.
Pradeep. We want to see your
Yes.
face.
Yeah, hi.
Let's
Wura
say,
Ola. Wura is here. Wura and Victoria are here.
Who asked want to see
They're
my
my
face?
friends.
Who
They are
was that?
here.
Who was that who requested for my face?
I
I was hiding my
want
face.
Wura Ola and Victoria to see your face.
It's good to see you, TM Pradeep.
They are my friends. Chioma, that was
Good
a
morning,
good
TM
one.
Lawal.
TM Ayon
Yeah. So
Good
Chioma,
morning,
you're
TM Lawal.
Can I off my face?
Victoria,
Can I
let's
off
see
my
your
face
face.
now?
Hello, good morning,
Okay.
all.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hello. Please, can we use this
Okay,
opportunity
so
to sing happy birthday song to TM Queen?
Oh,
Yes,
really? Oh, really?
okay, that's
Yeah.
good then. That's good.
Happy
But I'll
birthday to Queen.
Yes,
Happy birthday to Queen.
Where is the Queen?
Happy birthday.
We need to see her.
Happy
birthday.
Queen.
Happy
Birthday to Queen.
to this voice. Okay, so we spent 2 minutes. It's time to go back to the meeting. Back to you,
Just
Toastmaster
like
of the day.
This time, keep our
I'd love to ask a question.
tabletop
I think
master.
I've lost them if I again. Hello.
Do we have
Are you
any
there?
background in the house?
Toastmaster of the day.
No, I think we've lost her again. I think I'll. Yes, you can. Please enjoy.
Okay, then.
The profiles.
Take charge. Take charge.
Okay, let me share that with you quickly on WhatsApp. Oh, she's coming back in, but let me share that with you on WhatsApp too. In case she again.
So Wura and Victoria, make sure you are joining immediately. Now.
Welcome back, Tammy. Fine.
Thank you so much. Okay. First, masters and guests, I apologize. My network is acting up this morning, but we will still have a fantastic meeting. Okay, so now we're moving into the prepared speeches segment, and we're going to be kicking off this segment with Toastmaster Chinyere Emeka, who is our first speaker in the meeting. Toastmaster Chinyere Emeka, before I introduce her, she's going to be evaluated by Toastmaster Ruth Ijoma. Toastmaster Ruth Ijoma, are you there? Hello, Toastmaster Ruth.
Maybe you should move to the next speaker and then we'll try to reach her.
Okay, because trying to reach her. Okay. So we're going to move to the next speaker, Toastmaster Juliet Okene. Toastmaster Juliet Okene is going to be evaluated by Toastmaster Salif Mohammed. Toastmaster Salif Mohammed is an engineer and he's the current president of Lighthouse Prestige Toastmasters Club. He likes playing football and he has a passion for influencing people positively. Toastmaster Salif, please can you read the objectives of Toastmaster Juliet's speech?
Thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster Ifeanyi. Toastmaster Juliet, the purpose of your project is for you to learn about different communication styles and identify your primary style, the purpose of your speech, is to share the impact of your style on others. You have 5 to 7 minutes. Good luck.
Thank you, Toastmaster Salif Mohammed. Our next speaker, so our speaker is Toastmaster Juliet Okene. She's a member of Total Toastmasters Club. She's an accountant by training who recently made a career switch to HR. Wow, interesting. She is a life strategist, so she teaches people how to take charge of their own lives, and she helps career professionals to live their best lives. Toastmaster Juliet is going to be speaking from the Pathways Manual, Effective Coaching Manual to be precise, the Level 2, Project 2. And her speech title is Leadership and Communication Styles. Leadership and Communication Styles, Toastmaster Juliet. Over to you.
Thank you, the Toastmaster. Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters and guests. I have been working for over 20 years. And in that time, I was opportuned to work with different bosses with different leadership styles. As a result of their leadership styles, their teams achieve different things or different levels of success. One thing that sets these leaders apart was their communication style. There are 4 communication styles. With the permission of the Toastmaster, I will just drop them on the comment section. Because of the number of bosses I've worked with, I will attempt to use 4 of them to explain each communication styles. My very first boss was Madam ID. She was a bold, intelligent, confident woman, and it reflected in how she led the team. She was calm in communicating her needs or her desires to the team, and she listened attentively whenever the team spoke. As a result, there was mutual respect in the team, and the team was SEDULOUS. We strived. We were the envy of the entire company. Her communication style is assertive. You can imagine my shock when I was now transferred to work for Mr. T. Mr. T was a very frustrated and angry man who was angry with the system because he felt he was not being compensated enough. However, he masked this frustration with smiles and fake joys, even though beneath that surface, he was unhappy. This was also reflective in the way he communicated to the team, because nobody was ever sure whether he was saying yes or no. And that team was in SEDULOUS, as there was no trust and we couldn't achieve great things. Mr. T's communication style is passive aggressive. Mr. K. Mr. K was another kettle of fish altogether. Mr. K was a very man, and it reflected in his communication style. He was always shouting, always angry. He was using demeaning tone on the team. It was a frustrating place to work because there was no respect for human rights. There was no respect for human feelings. That was one of my most difficult bosses I think I've ever worked with in my 20 years working career, because every day I was looking for another job. When I couldn't get another job, I sought spiritual help. I called all the Reverend Fathers I knew, and I begged them to pray for me and pray with me. When that didn't work, I applied for leave of absence. 2 years leave of absence so I could stay away from this man. And that is when I think management listened and I was transferred. Mr. T's communication style is aggressive. More recently, I worked with Mr. S. Mr. S was my friend years before I was transferred to his team. So I was very happy. I was finally going to report to a boss that was my friend. But I learned a very quick lesson. that leadership and friendship are mutually exclusive. They don't go together. Mr. S was a very shy guy who was very conservative and was afraid to express himself. He never took a decision on anything. He would listen, but not make a decision. He was always on the fence. Who does that? And the team was not SEDULOUS. We were not a great team. Because when there was a crisis, Mr. S does not step aside. He develops wings and flies away. So as subordinates, we developed strategies. The first set of people became autonomous. We took matters into our own hands and we ran our teams as we understood. There were bumps, but we were fine. But another part of the team followed the traditional path. They were waiting for their boss to tell them what to do. Like you know already, those group of people, their career suffered because Mr. S did not make any decision, so there was no action taken. As leaders, you need to know your communication style because it is very, very key to how SEDULOUS, your team, performs. Those that know that great leaders achieve great things when they know how to communicate, because communication helps you to bond with your team. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, I will ask you a simple question today. As leaders in your separate endeavors, what is your communication style? Are you aggressive like Mr. K? Are you passive like Mr. S? Are you passive and aggressive like Mr. T? Or are you assertive like my favorite boss of all time, Madam ID? I will leave you with this note. Great leaders achieve great things that mediocre leaders only see in their dreams. I implore all of us here today to know our communication styles, learn about it, learn how we can advance and improve on ourselves so that individually we can all build and have a SEDULOUS team, the Toastmaster.
Fantastic. Well done, Toastmaster Juliet. Great leaders do what only, I actually had that done. Great leaders do what only mediocre leaders dream of doing. Fantastic. Love it so much. Thank you, Toastmaster Juliet. And you used the word of the day 3 times. Well done. Thank you for being so SEDULOUS in giving your speech. Do we have Toastmaster Ruth back now?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, Toastmaster Ruth, welcome. Toastmaster Ruth, you're going to be evaluating Toastmaster Chinyere, and I'll just introduce you first before Toastmaster Chinyere. Toastmaster Ruth joined Toastmasters in January 2019. She's an admin personnel who loves writing, dancing, and eating. She's an award winner, so she is a speaker that actually gives her speeches sedulously. She won the humorous speech contest last year, that's 2019. She won at the club level, the area level, and the division level. Wow. Toastmaster Ruth, please can you read to us the objectives of Toastmaster Chinyere's speech?
Okay, thank you so much, people. Toastmaster, sorry. Okay, the speech objective of TM Chinyere is for her to learn or review basic research methods and present a well-organized and researched speech on any topic of our choice. TM Chinyere, you have the floor. I wish you the best.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ruth. Toastmaster Chinyere is an entrepreneur who joined Toastmasters in January 2020. She's the current treasurer of Lighthouse Prestige Toastmasters Club. She enjoys discovering new things on the internet and she loves to meet people. Toastmaster Chinyere is going to be giving her speech from the Pathways Engaging Humor Manual, Level 1, Project 3. The title of her speech is Parenting in Nigeria. Parenting in Nigeria, Toastmaster Chinyere, over to you.
Okay, thank you, Toastmasters. And if the title
Toastmaster Chinyere, can you increase the volume? We can't hear you clearly.
Wow. I don't know if I should move closer. Can you hear me now?
Yes, it's better, much better.
Okay. Good afternoon, Toastmasters and guests.
Good afternoon.
My speech is titled Parenting in Nigeria. Parenting as a whole can be defined as a process of supporting and promoting the physical, emotional, social, and intellectual development of a child from infancy to adulthood. You all know that the African method of parenting is quite different from those in the Western countries, especially the Nigerian parenthood. As a kid growing up in a Nigerian home, we realized our parents didn't care much about showing much love and affection, not because they don't love us, but they don't know how to show it. And they were so strict and uptight that sometimes we wonder if you're being maltreated or not. Based on the research I carried out while in school, I realized that 70% of people I spoke with said, in quotes, when I was growing up, I thought my parents were actually not my parents. I thought I was adopted and my real parents would soon be coming back to pick me. Funny, right? But that's the truth. That was how they felt at that time. In their defense, I've been able to draw out 4 conclusions as to why parents act this way. 1, the Bible. There's a passage of the Bible that says, spare the rod and spoil the child. This set of parents believe that if they don't flog their child whenever he or she does something wrong, that the child will be irresponsible. So they flog them whenever they misbehave. 2, stressful environment. This set of parents unknowingly bring home the frustration from their workplace, their bosses or colleagues, thereby transferring aggression on their children. 3, the fear of their child being irresponsible. This set of parents will do anything within their power to give their child the best training. And sometimes they overdo it. And the 4th one, protection of public image. This set of parents already set a standard of who they want their child to be and how they want their child to behave, not minding how they will react. Okay, and they start early to inculcate that habit into them, not minding how they will react. In 2011, the UK Department for Education found that children who are exposed to harsh parenting, such as poor supervision and physical punishment, are 2 times more likely to misbehave. I've also been able to list out 3 negative effects of this type of parenting on the child. 1, parenting affects relationship. The relationship between a child and his or her parents serve as a foundation for all the child's future relationships. If this relationship is not properly managed, the child tends to buckle up all his emotions, affecting future relationships. 2, depression. In the National Institute of Health Journal article by Daniela H. Daniel et al., found that harsh discipline correlates with the symptoms of depression found in a child. Studies have also indicated that harsh discipline is linked to behavioral problem ranging from conduct disorder to depression and low self-esteem. And the 3rd one, aggression. The negative parenting techniques, such as rough handling and expressing of negative emotion towards the child, would cause the child to have high level of anger. How to be a good parent to remedy this situation? 1, do not shout at your child. Instead of shouting or scolding your child, calmly reason with them. Give them a timeout if they are being too difficult. Then listen to why they are being upset in the first place. and explain the consequence of their action. 2, inculcate reward and punishment. Reward and punishment are so far being the best type of parenting. Reward good behavior and punish bad behavior. And make sure not to include physical punishments. 3. Then the third one is give your child some amount of freedom. Instead of hovering around your child every movement, give them some level of freedom. If they know the consequences of their bad action, they are likely not to misuse it. And the fourth one, do not raise your hands. There are so many things a child can do that would provoke you to anger. However, calm down, relax, think before you raise your hands. Physical punishment has serious psychological effects on a child, affecting development. And most importantly, be a good example. Let me conclude with this, that parenting shouldn't include tough love, corporal or physical punishment, but free expression of love, support, and correction towards the child. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Chinyere. Thank you so much for explaining parenting to us. I'm so grateful to have parents who are very sedulous in their duty. So yes, parents have a true effect, negative and positive effect on their children. Thank you, Toastmaster Chinyere. Now, our next speaker is Toastmaster Ayola Fadeyi. Toastmaster Ayola Fadeyi is going to be evaluated by Toastmaster Pradeep Hawani. Toastmaster Pradeep is the immediate past president of Lighthouse Toastmasters Club. He is popularly known and fondly known as Otumba. He's an insurance broker and entrepreneurship facilitator. He loves badminton, stand-up comedy, and also mentoring. Toastmaster Pradeep, please can you read the objectives of Toastmaster Ayola's speech?
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Toastmaster Ayola Fadeyi, the purpose statement for his speech is that the purpose of this project is for him, that's the member, to identify his own cultural identities and the stereotypes that impact others' perception of him. I'll just take it once again. The purpose of this project is for him to identify his own cultural identities and the stereotypes that impact others' perception of him. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Pradeep. Toastmaster Ayola Fadeyi is a member of Seaside Toastmasters Club. He joined Toastmasters International in August 2019. He is a petroleum engineer who loves seeing natural reliefs, listening to traditional music, reading, and mental meditation. Toastmaster Ayola is going to be speaking from the Pathways Manual, the Strategic Relationship Manual to be precise, Level 2, Project 2. And his speech title is an interesting title. Is Ijebu a miser? Is Ijebu a miser? Toastmaster Ayola, over to you.
Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster of the Day. It was on August 1, 2019. We had set out for an introduction and marriage ceremony all the way from Ijebu, the hometown of the deceased Senator Buriji Kashamu. We traveled 300 miles down to Ekiti for a marriage of my cousin, Dele. It was a beautiful Sunday afternoon. But you know what? As I was under the sun, the brightness, I was enveloped in darkness. Good afternoon, Toastmasters and guests. The Dictionary of Psychology defined stereotype as an overestimated belief of a particular group of people. It is an expectation that a group of people will behave in a certain way. In all our lives, each and every one of us, we must have experienced one form of stereotype or the other. You could be going on the street and someone would ask you, Pastor, perhaps you were carrying your bag and you are in your corporate dress. This happens a lot when you are in the marketplace or when you are in a local environment. At other times, you could see someone call you professor. You would wonder, oh, you've not gotten your PhD and someone is calling you professor. The reason is very simple. Perhaps you were putting on your glasses. It is believed that people who put on glasses are well read, but this is not always true, and these are stereotypes. On a global scale, stereotype is the basis of on a global scale, stereotype is the basis of racism. If you go to the Western countries, you will see people, they separate whites from blacks because the whites believe that the blacks are dull. They are not as intelligent as they are. Meanwhile, we have seen black men who hold their own, who have been successful in various series of life. But the white man will never see this. At other times, you see other fans, other football clubs, they say Barcelona's are bustlers. They say Arsenal's fans are losers. All these are stereotypes of that people have attached to a particular group of people. In Nigeria, as it is, we have stereotypes. Calabar, when you mention Calabar, we know Calabar ladies to be great cooks, right? If you meet a Yoruba woman, they will say Yoruba woman is a concubine. Other times, they will say all Hausas are Muslims. Some other times, they will say Ijebus are misers. But this is not always true because I'm a Ijebu. First, someone could see me on my cap. This is a cap we call Gobe. Gobe in Yoruba, specifically meant for Ijebu. This is one of our distinct caps. And if you see this on anybody, it is not stereotype. This is our true culture. I have been accused several times that I am this, I am that. And then somebody will see me and he will say, oh, you are a fair in complexion. You are a Bororo, that is, you are Fulani, and you are a Marada. You could kill easily. And people sometimes take risks and they move away from me. Other times when I introduce myself, I say my name is Ayola Fadeyi. People are always scared. For people who understand Yoruba, who knows the cultural implication of what Fadeyi is, it was popularized by one of the great Yoruba actors. When they say Fadeyi, the meaning is always attached to someone who is very wicked and can kill at will. But it is only when you move closer to me that you will know that I'm gentle and I'm very innocuous. It even becomes worse when when people know that I'm from Ijebu land of Ogun State. Ijebu, it is believed that we have voodoos and we can perform magical powers. It is with us. True. But this doesn't apply to everybody, as the case may be. It's not a good thing, and the reason why the marriage went down and nothing could happen from that was very simple. The most elderly man at the meeting where we were about to do the introduction, which would expect that it would follow through with a marriage, stood up and said, yes, while you were introducing yourself, you mentioned that you had a family relationship from Zaria Kano, number one. That means you could kill, you are a marauder. The second is that you are an Ijebu person, and Ijebu doesn't spend money. This could be true, but it's not always true. Ijebus are not misers. We are only frugal with what we do. It is on record that the first set of people that the white business merchants met in Nigeria were the Ijebus. They met these people that they were doing their business professionally. And they know that Ijebus have the business acumen and they could manage resources quite well. You would wonder, in Yoruba land, we are known for Owambes. The British culture of Owambes started from the Ijebus. You know what? For every Ijebu man that arranges a party or set up a party has already done his financial analysis. He has done his economic analysis using the IRR, internal rate of return, NPV, net present value, to know how much returns he would have. We don't just throw parties. We are always frugal with what we do. In all, my dear friends and Toastmasters, stereotyping in a multicultural environment, just like we have in Toastmasters, is not a good thing and it doesn't help our productivity. Take, for instance, Lighthouse Toastmasters Club, where we have people of varying cultures coming together from different walks of life. And perhaps if you have someone that holds a stereotype, if you are stereotype someone or a group of people and say maybe Igbos are this, Hausas are this, or the whites are this, or people who come from a particular background are this, you might not really be productive or work well with any other person in the group. I therefore encourage everybody to eschew any act of stereotyping people because it doesn't allow for progress. I envision a world whereby people will not be judged by stereotyping them, but by the strength of their character and individual personality, the Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ayola. Interesting. Ijebu people are frugal. But how we show Toastmaster Ayola that you're not a miser? Like you said you're not a miser. Okay. Thank you so much for being so sedulous in your speech. Well done. And now, please let us vote for our most preferred speaker, so our best speaker. Toastmaster Gbemi, please can we have the poll before we move to the evaluation segment? Okay, thank you. We'll just give 30 seconds for everyone to vote. Then we'll move to the evaluation segment. Okay, now moving on to the evaluation segment. We will start with Toastmaster Ruth Ijoma. Toastmaster Ruth Ijoma to evaluate Toastmaster Chinyere. Toastmaster Ruth, are you there?
Hi, I'm here.
Okay.
Yes,
so
I am.
Over to you.
Okay, please, can we give a round of applause to Toastmaster Chinyere? Like she deserves it, please. Okay, let me begin by saying well done on that beautiful speech delivery, Toastmaster Chinyere. That was a fantastic work. The beauty of your speech was basically because it affects everyone here. You're currently a parent or you're a parent in the making. And need I say that your speech was well organized? You began by letting us know that there's a difference in parenting between an African and a foreigner. You also went further to massage the ego of our African parents by giving reasons as to why they act in specific ways. You made mention of the Bible. And I also love the fact you taught the aftermath of bad parenting. And you also gave tips on how to become a better parent. That was a fantastic work. And need I say that you achieved the objective of your speech as it was well organized and well researched. As we all heard you take a quote from National Article of Daniela. Well done. But as good as your speech was, I feel it could be better. And one of the ways I know it would be better is if you begin first of all by speaking on your feet. I observed you were seated down. When you're sitting down, while really be able to project, there's something about giving a speech while standing. So next time, please ensure you give your speech while standing. And I also heard you made use of pause fillers. Although it was just once or twice, but you need to be careful and cautious of that. I feel you should practice your speech more, so you really do not have a reason to make use of ums and ahs. Otherwise, it was a very, very fantastic job. Well done.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ruth, for that sedulous presentation. Now we're moving on to Toastmaster Salif Mohammed to evaluate Toastmaster Juliet. Toastmaster Salif.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ifeanyi.
Toastmaster Salif.
Yes,
Okay.
thank you. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you. Toastmaster Juliet, are you there?
Yes, TM Salif.
Okay, thank you. In a record short time, you have announced your entrance into the Toastmasters Club as a speaker to watch out for. You are a pioneer member of Total Toastmasters Club, a club that got chartered in July 2020. And in a space of less than 2 months, you already have level 1 below your belt in the Pathways Toastmasters program, and sedulously taking charge of your Toastmasters educational journey. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, please, let's give a round of applause to TM Juliet. Show her some love, please.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You started with a story about yourself to establish credibility. You have control. You are innovative. The decision to post your points in the comment section was spot on. That way, you save time for your speech and gave us the opportunity to refer to the list from time to time. You used the word of the day about 3 times. I thought I was the only one counting until the Toastmaster of the day mentioned it. Your speech is well crafted and has a lot of content, logically and sedulously organized. You also ended your speech with a bang. Well done. Now, what could you have done better? Although you had good gestures, you may want to use your stage graciously the next time so that you don't appear to stand on one spot. For example, when you transitioned from one boss to the other, you could have taken deliberate movement to sync with your speech. This is particularly important as we are in a virtual meeting, and any effort to enhance your effectiveness of your communication is invaluable. Also, your list of communication styles is 4. People remember things in 3s. It's a point that has been proven. So the next time you may want to reduce your list to 3. You made that up though with putting it in the chat section. That way it was easy for us to still remember. But on the whole, your speech is well crafted and very well delivered. Well done. Another round of applause for her, please.
Thank you, TM Salif. Thank you, everyone.
Over to you, the Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Salif, for that sedulous presentation. And now moving on to Toastmaster Pradeep to evaluate Toastmaster Ayola.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Toastmaster Ayola, are you there? Toastmaster Ayola, can you hear me?
Yes, I am. I can hear you very clearly. Okay. I am.
Fantastic.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Your hard work, the speech prepared sedulously, showed us that you have put in hard work in preparing that speech. Well done. I'm first going to give you the areas which I liked, where you did very well. Your hand gestures and your expressions were very good. I loved the examples you gave because everybody could relate to that example. Maybe when you were talking about the person from Calabar being a good cook, and then taking up the really hot topic of the football teams of Barca and Arsenal now, you added flavor to it by that. And then it even went further to use your name and explain that and use that as an example. Amazing. And it is a sign of a good speaker who's able to use a prop during his speech without getting nervous and you did that wonderfully well. The icing on the cake was your ending. You tweaked Martin Luther King's speech, "I have a dream." You tweaked a part of that statement to suit your own speech. It was a very well done effort. So if I consider all these things, I will say you have achieved the objective and the purpose of your speech today. Well done. Now, let's come to the areas of improvement. Where you could improve upon so that your speech could have been more effective is: 1, the vocal variety. 2nd, the positioning of your camera. It was positioned, but it could have been positioned better because you were standing. So you could have positioned the camera in such a way that it is the camera is at your eye level or little below the eye level, not it's coming from down. So improvement of the camera position is there. And then some of the language has to be improved. Like I'll give you an example. When he said black men, instead of saying black men, could have said men of color. And then when you mention Owambe, you need to translate because not everybody can understand what Owambe means because this is an English speech. So if you're talking anything vernacular, you need to translate that there. And I also mentioned that, did I mention that you need to improve on your vocal variety? So your areas of improvement is camera positioning, language, translation of vernacular words, and improvement in your vocal variety. With this, I look forward for your future speeches and look forward that you take this comments and these suggestions, recommendations, and implement in your next speech. Thank you very much. All the best.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Toastmaster Pradeep, for being so sedulous in your evaluation. And now I'd like to call on my team members, starting with the timer and the hour counter, Toastmaster Jayola, to give us his report. Toastmaster Jayola.
Okay, I'm with you. Thank you, all SEDULOUS Toastmaster of the day. Now I'll give a SEDULOUS report on the time spent in the prepared speech. Toastmaster Juliet sedulously spent 6 minutes, 21 seconds on her speech. Toastmaster Chinyere sedulously spent 6 minutes, 11 seconds on her speech. And lastly, Toastmaster Ayola sedulously spent 6 minutes, 54 seconds on his speech. Thank you all prepared speakers for your sedulous use of time. Now I would give my sedulous reports on the counter, on the sedulous reports on how we managed our use of pause fillers and crunch words. Toastmaster Lawrence used pause fillers 2 times. That was on sedulous, but I used sedulous in that, so that should count. Toastmaster Chinedu used pause fillers like actually, so, okay, 3 times. And Toastmaster Jayola, that was on sedulous on me, I'm so sorry. But I used pause fillers 5 times. I used a lot of M, A, M. Oh, it's sedulous. Thank you, Toastmaster Anyonfe. That was sedulously well done. Thank you. Then our winner, the winner of today, I don't know if she's a Toastmaster or a guest, but that's Chioma Igwe. She used the pause fillers and crunch words. She used it 20 times. So she used a lot of M's. She first used about M's. She used M's about 4 times. Then she used you know about 16 times. So 20 times. So that was on sedulous of Toastmaster Chioma. What will we say to Toastmaster Chioma?
Don't do
Can
that
you
again.
Don't do it
unmute?
again.
Toastmaster, don't do it
Do
again.
it again.
Thank you, Toastmasters and guests, for listening to my SEDULOUS reports. You're welcome. Bye. Back to you, the SEDULOUS Toastmaster of the day.
Toastmaster Jayola, you have won the word of the day. Yes, you have won the word of the day sedulously. Well done for that sedulous presentation. Okay, now, so moving on to our grammarian and listening evaluator. But also, please let us vote for our best evaluator. So like Baby is going to bring up the poll now. Please let us vote for our best evaluator. Okay, so now our grammarian and listening evaluator, Toastmaster Taye, is going to give us his report. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster of the Day. To start my report, I would just thank TM Ayonfelua for the correction she made. So a lot of us used the word of the day wrongly. It's sedulous, not sedulous. But I will ignore that in my calculations today, but that's the actual pronunciation for it, right? So going to the word of the day and the use of the word of the day, TM Pradeep used it once, TM Salif used it twice, TM Juliet used it 4 times, TM Ned used the word of the day 1 time, TM Jaye used it 11 times, and myself, I used it twice. TM Ifeanyi used it 10 times. So the winner of that contest is TM Jaye for today. Now, moving on to good uses of language, we had TM Ayala. I'm going to list a lot of them under the listening evaluation, but I just want to call one out in my grammarian report. So TM Ayola used an oxymoron. He said, as I was under the sun, I was enveloped in darkness. So using 2 words that seem contradictory. So moving on to where we could use English better in our speeches. So I'll just call out a few of them and how best to pronounce them and use those words. So TM Juliet said, that was one of my most difficult jobs I have. So that was one of the most difficult jobs I have. So it was an awesome speech, but that could be corrected. Then TM Chere, I believe this was because of probably the pace of the speech. She said, I have been able to draw out 4 conclusions. That should be 4 conclusions, right? So then TM Ayola said it was on August 1. It should have been, it was on the 1st of August, right? So then TM Ruth said in our evaluation, she said there is a difference in parenting between a Nigerian and foreigner. So between Nigerians and foreigners. So that's being better put will be there is a difference in parenting for Nigerians and for foreigners. So it was all around great speeches and by all our speakers, and those were the points where they could have improved. Now, as the listening evaluator, I'll be testing how well we've listened as a group, right? So I want everybody to participate as much as possible. I'm going to ask questions about different points of the meeting. If you know who said what, you just unmute your mic and speak. So who said this? Your life will fly by. Ensure your life will fly by. Ensure you are the pilot. Who said that?
TM Salif Mohammed.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Then TM Salif also quoted someone. He said, and the person said, the only person you can become is who you decide to be. Who did TM Salif quote?
Ralph Emerson.
Yes, thank you very much, John, for that. Then, who said this? I will give it to the person who needs it most.
TM Joy.
Okay, thank you very much, Tim Pradeep. Now, who said this? As leaders, you need to know your leadership style.
TM Juliet.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, in our speech, TM Cherry gave us tips on how to be good parents. Can anybody give one tip?
Don't shout at your kids. Give them time to reflect.
Okay, I believe you're paraphrasing, but she mentioned stuff like that. So, anybody else?
Don't raise your hand.
Okay, thank you very much. That's great. So she also mentioned inculcate reward and punishment. Give your children some amount of freedom, and do not raise your hand, and also be good examples. So that will end my report today as a grammarian. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Please unmute yourself.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Toastmaster Taye, for that SEDULOUS presentation. Please, all our guests, Toastmaster Lamre, our Vice President membership, has put in a form in the chat box. Please fill the form. We would love to have your contact details, and you're all welcome. Thank you. And now we have come to the end of the meeting, and I'm going to hand over to the president, Toastmaster Rotimi Omatayo-Benson. But I'd just love to reemphasize what Toastmaster Salif said, the quote by Rob Liano that said, your life will fly by, so make sure that you are the pilot. And so even in this season, this COVID-19 season, that is so, wow, it can really, really make one not even want to live, not even want to do anything anymore. Please still make sure that you are still the pilot of your life. No matter what you go through, you are still setting goals and you are still moving and pushing to achieve them. Thank you so much. And now I'm handing over to Toastmaster Rotimi. Before I hand over, I would love to first announce the winners. Now starting with Toastmaster Rotimi, now starting with the best table topic speaker. Now what we'll do here, we'll do drum roll. So I'd love us to actually still do a drum roll no matter what. The best table topic speaker is Toastmaster Juliet Okene. Toastmaster Juliet, well done. Congratulations. Is she there?
Thank you so very much. I'm humbled. Thank you so much.
Well done, Toastmaster Juliet. Congratulations. And now our best speaker. Wow, fantastic. You know, she was so sedulous in her presentations that she is also the best speaker of the day. Toastmaster Juliet Okene again for best speaker. Wow. Toastmaster Juliet?
I'm here. Thank you so much. Thank you, Lighthouse. Thank you so much.
Fantastic. Congratulations, Toastmaster Juliet. And the last but not the least, our best evaluator is Toastmaster Salif Mohammed, our best evaluator of the day. Toastmaster Salif?
Wow, nice one.
Yes. Toastmaster Salif, congratulations. And my job is done. Thank you for having me as the Toastmaster of the day. Toastmaster Rotimi, our dear president, over to you. Right.
Thank you, Tim. That one role you just played. I'd like to thank all the various role players, from Toastmaster Ifeanyi being the Toastmaster of the day, to the various role players, to all the speakers. I want to believe that we learned something new today. And without wasting too much of our time, we have just about 10 minutes to round up this meeting. We would like to meet the first time in our midst today, the guests. So if you're a guest in today's meeting, please can you kindly introduce yourself, turn on your video, your camera, unmute your microphone, tell us your name, who invited you, how you found the meeting, and what you do. So please, can we quickly go over that? any guest in the house, please turn on your camera. Tell us what you do, who invited you, your name, and how you found the meeting.
Why did I see anything?
Hello.
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 Can you see me?
Yes, we can see you.
Okay, my name is Lanre Justice Anyai. I work with Vodacom as a voice engineer, and then Rotimi invited me. Thank you.
And how did you find the meeting?
The meeting was very, very interesting. I had a nice time.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And any other guests in the house, please?
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Okay, my name is Chama Igwe. It's my first time here, but I have joined a couple of meetings with the Ikeja branch, and I just wanted to try the VI or the Lighthouse branch. Yes, I was invited. I got in through Larry or Larry Waju. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. And I had a good time.
Okay, thank you. Any other guests in the house? And please, the guests we have in the house, kindly fill the link that has been shared in the chat box. Please, do we have any other guests in the house? Guest. Okay, John, you can go ahead. Please unmute your microphone.
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Sorry, my network was acting up the other time. It was really nice to join the Toastmasters meeting today. This is not my first time in Lighthouse. I've been in the meeting when you were in the Cisco office, but that was a long time ago, and I decided to join in today again. I really enjoyed the meeting, and I hope to be with you in the next meetings. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, John. Any other guests in the house? Hosanna, I think you were trying to talk earlier on. Hello, Hosanna. Do we have any other guests in the house?
Hello.
You need to unmute your microphone, Hosanna.
Can you see me?
We can't see you, but we can hear you now.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Wow, I love today's meeting. It's so interesting. I love the meeting. In fact, the speakers, they did well. They really impacted knowledge. I learned a lot. I was invited by a friend, Chinedu Arebere. Thank you so much.
Welcome, Hosanna. Do we have any other guests in the house?
Yeah, hello.
Hello.
Okay,
Can you follow?
good
Okay, go ahead.
My name is Finfolo Ashamu. I was invited by John Adediba. I think is actually a guest as well.
Okay. So what do you do? How did you find the meeting?
Okay, I'm a business developer. I was invited by John Adediba. He sent me the link, so I joined there.
And how was the meeting?
It was great. I enjoyed it.
Okay. So hope you'll be joining soon.
Definitely, I will.
Okay. Do we have any other guests in the house? Who is Smile?
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon. I've seen this face several times.
Let me put on the video. Okay. So good afternoon, everyone. Once again, my name is Godwin Henry, and I've been in the meeting a couple of times in the last 2 months. However, because of work, I've not attended in a while. So my regular, is he invited? Okay, I was invited by TM Pradeep, and the meeting as usual was insightful, and I'm glad I joined today. I think I joined 30 minutes late, but from where I joined, it was explosive.
Okay, Godwin, nice having you around today. Do we have Ochuko guests? Trying to see if we have any other guests in the house. We have just about 3 minutes to go. You know, in Toastmasters, we try to keep to time, so we are very conscious of time. Do we still have any other guests in the house? I think in the absence of that, we can call this meeting. Any other guests? Let me hold on a while. 3 more minutes. But while we're waiting for guests, I actually learned a lot of things today. And Toastmaster Ayoda spoke about Ijebu and financial analysis. I'm trying to understand Ijebu and financial analysis. Toastmaster Emeka spoke on parenting. And I think that's one thing, our parents, it's quite interesting. That issue, that idea of always beating us when we were young, I don't know, but I think our generation, we seem to have changed that now. We try to connect more with our kids. So that's one good thing about Toastmasters. You hear speeches from different people with different background on different topics. So for the guests in our midst, I would just like to say to you once again, if you have not joined, I think you should join. It's a platform that allows you to learn how to become a better version of yourself. That's why we are all here. We give speeches, we play roles, and afterwards we hear evaluations. Like you all know, feedback is the breakfast of champions. And on that note, I'd like to call it a day. And by the powers vested on me as the president of Lighthouse Toastmasters Club, I adjourn this meeting to next week Saturday by 11 a.m. Next week Saturday is 22nd of August. Meanwhile, lest I forgot, we have a competition coming up. It's called the Tall Tale Competition and Table Topics Competition. What? And what that does, and what we do there is, for the table topics, for those of us that experience the table topics in the first half of this meeting, we have a competition on that. So you just come there and you come there and you speak up the curve. You know the topic beforehand. That is for one. The second competition we have coming up is called the Tall Tale, where you come and deliver a speech. You have 5 to 7 minutes. Tall Tale, any story, any kind of fictional story that you think is funny, just come and deliver that speech. That is going to happen on 29th of August. We have 2 meeting here, Lighthouse Prestige Toastmasters and Lighthouse Toastmasters Club. For Lighthouse Toastmasters Club, on the 29th of August, the competition will be between 10 a.m. and 12 noon. For Lighthouse Prestige Toastmasters, it's going to be from 12:30 to 2 o'clock. And once again, on that note, I'd like to call this meeting to a close, and I adjourn it to next week, Saturday by 11 a.m. Thank you and bye-bye.
Thank you, Presido.
Oh.
Thank you, Otumba, for the evaluation.
Thank you.
Well done. TM Rotimi, she has been disturbing you. Are you not going to beat her?
No,
there was in the speech. In the speech, they say if they are disturbing you, you should beat them.
No, nowadays we talk to them. Oh.
Funny enough, I can.
Icebreaker. She's practicing her
Funny
icebreaker.
enough. Funny enough, I can imagine her saying, "Daddy, calm down."
She's practicing her icebreaker.
Thank you, Tim and your fellow Lua, for correcting us. At least we have someone that can help correct that.